to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And I am back once again. It is a rainy Saturday afternoon, and I'm tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And it's your lucky day. You're getting a podcast from me. No, I've had a lot of time. It's between holidays. We're between Christmas and New Year's, and it is a kind of a slow time for me. In fact, I don't have a lot going on as far as with, family or the holidays or anything like that. I'm just kind of grateful that Christmas is over. And I try not to schedule any classes if I can in between, like I said, Christmas and New Year's, kind of give me some time off, some time to get some stuff done. And I've been doing a lot of that lately. And, I'm just trying to focus. I'm just trying to focus on next year. And I've got some things in store for my classes and some things in store for the podcast, which we'll talk about here shortly. But I hope you guys all had a Merry Christmas. I hope Santa Claus was good to you. If maybe you got some guns, maybe you got some ammo, got something Second Amendment related. I did hear, on the last podcast, I talked about winter projects. What do you do in the wintertime? And I had a bunch of listeners reach out to me, and I absolutely appreciate that. Lots of people doing lots of different things. Kind of what I thought when you're in the gun culture, the Second Amendment. When you lean toward the Second Amendment, there's a lot of things that everyone does that is pretty similar in the winter. I got a lot of reloading. I build a gun a year, which is absolutely fantastic. Some people do, participate in a lot of dry fire. Some people are just kind of cleaning out their saves. And that's okay. I mean, that's a good thing. So I appreciate those that reached out to me, and everyone's kind of doing pretty much what I'm doing. Now, I haven't got started on my reloading yet. I've been in the search of the large rifle primers, and I've been searching for quite a little while for some of those, and I stumbled across them at a store we have here locally, and so I bought myself 1,000 large rifle primers, and honestly, that will keep me busy that's probably all the large rifle primers I'm probably going to need for many, many years, as much as I reload. Or at least as much as I reload for my rifles anyway. So I'm glad that I have secured that, put that in the drawer with all the other reloading components. It's been just wet here. It's been raining. It's been 40 degrees, so the temperature hasn't been that bad. But it's so wet out there. It's just miserable. Like you can't hardly do anything. The range is just a sopping mess because it's not very often that Idaho gets this amount of rain like this all at one time. And my range is set up to be pretty good in the rain. It can handle that now that I've got some gravel and stuff in there. But it's pretty soft out there right now. In fact, I was scheduled to have some friends of mine come over and shoot sometime within the last couple days, and I just called it off. It's just been raining. It's wet. It's mushy, and good for them. They actually went out to a gravel pit and went shooting. Their families, and they said, "Hey, it's always a good day to get out and shoot, even when it's raining." But I just can't get into it. That's not a me thing. It's pouring down rain. I'm out. I don't want to be out there. If I don't have to be, I'm going to choose not to every single time. What else do I got going on here? I'm looking around. Oh, I took my, I have one child left at home. I have my 11-year-old son left at home, and I talked about how I put a red dot on a 22 for him the other day, and we went out and we were shooting that, and he's average size of an 11-year-old, but he has smaller hands, and he struggles with gripping a handgun properly enough to where he can get a good grip on it, but still get that nice trigger press, being able to reach the trigger without breaking his grip. And we haven't tried for, probably been 5 or 6 months. And I took him out there, and I posted a video on our Facebook page I posted the video, and he actually took my TSOS Night Stalker out there, and I loaded it up for him, showed him how to use it, and said, pick that up, see what you think. And I was surprised. It actually fit his hand. And I got the thing paired with an EPS carry dot on it, and I spun him around, and I showed him the steel target, and I had him start shooting at it. And that kid is so meticulous. He's back at about, I want to say is about 16 yards, or 13, 6, I don't know, somewhere right in there. And he's just plinking that steel every time he pressed that trigger. I was so proud of him. But yeah, I have all my kids, they all like to shoot. They all like to go out and do things. But he is I think he's my little shooter. He is very precise, and he's a rule follower. And he's just really conscientious about what he does when he is shooting. He wants to press the trigger correctly. In fact, we're shooting a steel plate, and he's pinging it, man, no problem. You know, he's got like a 6-inch, I don't know, 6 or 8-inch steel plate, and he's pinging it every time, and he's hitting it good. The plate's it's good, solid hits. But one shot, he still hit the plate, but he was a little left of where he was aiming. And in the video, I'm like, good job. That's another good one. He says, no, it wasn't. I was a little left to where I'm aiming. I'm like, fix it then. Like go ahead and fix it. If you're going to be that hard on yourself, then fix it by all means. That's just going to make you a better shooter in the long run. And so my hat's off to him. I mean, he's 11 years old, but maybe down the road, he'll be helping me in my classes, or he'll be teaching his own classes. Like, isn't that the goal? Isn't that always the dream of like the family business? The parents, or the dad, whatever, they want to pass down the family business to their son, or they want their son to help them in the family business. It's been that way with me. And I tried. I really, really, really try. Sorry, I'm getting my phone's ringing, and I'm kind of preoccupied here, glancing over there. I really wanted my oldest boy, who's now 19, to do the same thing. And he likes to shoot and stuff, but he just wasn't really interested in helping with classes, helping with whatever. And that's fine. I mean, that's okay. But I think my 11-year-old is going to be the guy. I think he's going to be the kid. So we'll see. I look forward to the next year of shooting with him to kind of see how he develops. Because now that I know that he can, handle a larger gun, a larger caliber firearm, now it's, we just got to hit the deck running at this point. We're just going to get after it. So I'm really looking forward to that. One thing I wanted to talk about, I have a few things in mind I want to talk about, but I really want to talk about what I have going on here. I have spent the last 13, 14 years, that's as long as I've done the business. I think I've been doing the podcast for, I don't even know. It's got to be more like 8 years now. I mean, there's episodes out there that you probably can't even access anymore. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed doing the podcast. And as I talked about on the last episode that I released, that I felt like I was running out of things to talk about. I feel like I'm repeating myself. I feel like I'm just boring everyone who listens to the podcast. Because frankly, a lot of the new stuff is going to be the news. And I don't always want to talk about the news. I am hit with the news every single day. It's sent to me, which I appreciate. Keep sending it. News stories. I talk about it on the radio. That's all you hear anymore, right? And I'm just kind of done. Sometimes I just want to take a step back. The podcast is my outlet. It is my outlet to talk about those things that I want to talk about related to firearms. And a lot of times I talk about the things that I see in my classes. And that seems to be a repeat, trigger press. Let's be safe. Point it at the dirt. That kind of stuff. It's just repetitive for everyone. I know everyone probably gets tired of it. So I decided that this year I am going to get serious. Now, it's been hard in the past for me to get super serious about the podcast because, frankly, the podcast, let's be honest here, the podcast doesn't make me any money. Is it an outlet for advertising? Yeah, a little bit. Probably just a little bit. But it is it doesn't make money. It costs money. And I'm not complaining, and I'm not looking for money from you folks. But I'm just saying this is why I don't think I've gotten that serious. It's just been something fun that I would do. I started to do it with a lot of different friends, and we did that for a year or so. And then everyone kind of went their own way. And then I'm here still doing the podcast, when I can, and not as consistently. Well, I think that is going to change. It is time for me to get more serious about this. It's time for me to get a little more organized about the actual podcast. And so that is what I'm going to do, knock on wood. I even hate to say what I want to do for fear it just doesn't happen. But I've gotten so serious about wanting to just do this and do this podcast right that it's been taking me about the last week. I've sat down and I've worked up a podcast schedule, and I've actually put it on my calendar for next year. So I am reminded, and I'll be honest with you, there are some days that I was going to do a podcast and over the past however many years, and then I just get tied up and it just doesn't get done. So now I'm going to try and force myself to somewhat prioritize recordings episodes a little bit more. I'm going to try to be a little more prepared. And what I want to do is I want to break the podcast down, break the main podcast down. I feel like there really is no direction. I talk about all kinds of different things, and I just mash it all together in one show, and some people like it, some people don't. It probably bores a bunch of people, and it's really repetitive. And let's face it, if there's someone who is new to guns, right, they might enjoy a lot of those episodes. If there's someone who's been around firearms for a long time, yeah, it's a good refresher, but they're like, ugh, I've heard this before. You've talked about this before. Move on. Let's talk about something else. So let me introduce my plan for next year. Now, I've planned out not the whole year. I've planned out the first 6 months, which it's taken me a long time to get to this point. Like, I put it on my calendar, you name it. And I've actually got episode topics all picked out here, and I'm trying to open this up. So I'm going to, hopefully, if everything goes the way I would like it to, I'm going to be doing a week. This is a week now, but we're going to talk about this. I'm going to start doing 3 podcasts a week. I know a lot of you go, Todd, you can't even do one every week. Now you want to do 3 a week? I'm going to get this done. Okay. I've got a plan. I've scheduled everything. I've wrote it down. I've worked out most of the details. And so let's talk about, they're going to hopefully get recorded and released is the plan on the days that I have set up, the same days every week. That's what I'm shooting for. Okay. So let's start. So on Wednesdays, I am going to do what I call my Welcome to Guns. I don't know. This is what I'm going to call it right now. I don't know what I'm going to call it for sure, but this is what it is right now. It's written down as Welcome to Guns series. So it's going to be a series of podcasts. This podcast I will do every single Wednesday, and it's this Welcome to Guns series. And what it's going to do is it's going to talk about, it's more, anyone can listen to it, but it is more tailored for the person who's just getting into shooting, the person that is just getting into firearms, right? And so we're going to start at the basics. We're going to talk about the basic fundamentals too, grip, stance, we're going to have discussions like, why would you want to own a gun? What reasons to own a gun? What would you do with the gun? What are the safety rules? What are the different types of guns, the types of actions? How do you choose a gun? We're going to talk about ammo. We're going to talk about training ammo versus defensive ammo. We're going to talk about, different holster choices and why you would carry here and carry there, and, what to do when you go into a gun store. Maybe a lot of people are intimidated by going into a firearms store. So what can you do? What should you do? What should you expect when you go into a firearms store to shop for a gun? And, that kind of stuff. So, all the way down to, it's time to sign up for a class. What to expect when you show up to your first firearms class, because people are nervous. How do you vet your instructor? That kind of thing. We're going to go, and now these podcasts, maybe it's going to be a little longer, but I'm going to guarantee you that a lot of these, like that one, is going to be very short. The topics aren't really that in-depth. They are, but they aren't. And I'm going to estimate these podcasts, those ones are going to be on Wednesdays, is going to be anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. So they're going to be kind of short, but they're going to be out there, and it's going to be information. And I'm not going to mix all the information up with a bunch of other stuff that not everyone wants to listen to. And then on Sundays, I'm going to have what we call the main podcast. So that's going to be the type of podcast I do right now. And it might be political. It might be just me ranting, something I saw, whatever it might be. I might have some of the guys in here to do the podcast. We talk about new guns, whatever that is. This is kind of right now I just call it the main podcast. So, okay, it's kind of like the discussion of the week. Now, that one will be anywhere from probably, 30 minutes to an hour long. That's my goal. That's my hope. And then I'm going to do another one on Mondays, and that's going to be my training series. And I'm going to talk about things to train. I'm going to talk about explain a trigger press. I'm going to explain how to get the good trigger press. I'm going to explain all about the trigger. It's a training series. Now, if there is ever a drill that you can go out and do for that training thing I talked about that week, I will talk about that drill and hopefully those that are following along that training series, and we discuss drills and different things to do and different times to, what's your goals and how fast can you do this, and this is how you do a mag change. Hopefully it'll get people to go and practice those things, and I want people to try and be involved, and I want people to see how to do the drill and go out and I just want to kind of create that community. Now, I know it's all been done before. None of this is groundbreaking stuff. But for me, right, I don't know how new of a voice I am, on the podcast, but I'm just trying to get organized. Someone will find value in it, and that's what I want. I want value for everybody. So there you go. There's going to be a podcast on Monday. There's going to be a podcast on Wednesdays, and there's going to be a podcast on Sundays. Now, that one on Sundays, that could show up on a Saturday, that could show up on a Sunday. That's kind of up in the air depending on weekends. I have a lot of classes scheduled, and unfortunately, the classes take priority because the podcast doesn't make me any money right now. So the weekend podcast is going to be the main podcast. I'll have another one on Monday, and I'll have another one on Wednesday. And during the week, the weekdays, Monday and Wednesday, they're going to be relatively short, with the longer one being on the weekend. So that is my plan, and I have, except for the main podcast, because those are real flexible as far as the topics and different things that happen in the world relating to firearms and stuff like that, the news. I've got everything scheduled out for 6 months. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really solid with my plan. Another thing I'm going to talk about too is I've done this in the past, and I don't know that I'm going to do it live necessarily. I haven't decided yet, but I want to add video. So I want to put video on some of these podcasts. I don't know which ones. Obviously, the ones where we talk about the drills and I need to demonstrate stuff, I'm probably going to have a video up for that. Is it going to be live? I don't think those ones will be live. But where am I going to post these videos, right? I always hate videos, by the way. I think I look like crap in these videos. I'm probably my own worst critic, I'm sure. So this is a big step for me. I hate videos. The comments, the everything that you get from people, I just hate it. I guess I got to callous up and not pay attention to it. But the videos, where am I going to post the videos? Well, I'm on pretty much every, we'll say, major social media. So I guess what I would like to do is and it might be a learning curve to get some of this stuff figured out, but I'd like to throw the videos up on YouTube, which we are on YouTube. Find Patriot Defense like that. The more follows we get on that, the more I'm able to do, like live videos. I'm probably going to try to throw live video up if I can. Not a live video, but the video if I can. I don't know. I got to look at the platform and see how long of videos I can make. Maybe I'll just throw clips up. I'm not sure. But up on Instagram. Then obviously Facebook till they shut me down because they're always removing stuff that I put up. So those three, that's going to be Instagram. It's going to be YouTube. That's going to be Facebook. I know not everyone's a big fan, but TikTok. I'm going to try to get something up on TikTok. And I don't know if it's probably going to be like little shorts or what it is, but I'm going to try to get stuff up on TikTok. And the newest one to the bunch is going to be, oh, crap. Oh, yeah, what's it called? I'm so new to it, I don't remember. Oh, it's called Rumble. It's Rumble. That's the one I'm thinking about, Rumble. I do have an account on Rumble, and I think I had like 5 followers because I literally never posted to it. I did since remove that account, and I opened a new one up, which allowed me to open it up and be able to do more stuff. So if you like Rumble, and I would definitely follow that account because possibly if YouTube takes stuff down, Rumble won't. I'm going to try to get there on, put the videos up on Rumble as well. And eventually down the line, I'd like to do some live videos again. That is really technical. It can be tough, especially if I'm by myself. So I kind of have to take my time and sort that out. I know I've done it before. I'm not sure how effective they were, but we're probably going to give it a try once again. So that is my new podcast schedule. Just I want to try and get more serious about this. And make it good for everybody, if that's even possible. So that's going to be a podcast on Monday. It's going to be a podcast on Wednesday, and that's going to be one on the weekends. And I'm going to throw up videos where I can, when I can. And if I get into a groove, maybe there'll be a video for every podcast. Maybe I'll just record the podcast as a video, not live, and I'll post that up on those spots. I know right now that my audio version of my podcast goes automatically to YouTube. No pictures, just the audio version. So maybe I'll fix that. And there was one other thing I wanted to do on here, and I can't remember what it was, but just know this is what I have down so far. I still have to teach classes and do all that stuff as well. So we're going to see how this goes. I really, really, really want to hold true to the schedule, though. And I've worked hard over the last week getting this thing set up, getting it in my calendar, you name it, man. I live and die by the calendar on my phone. Before I go on vacation, before I schedule a class, before I do anything, I pull up my calendar. And this time of year, I'm scheduling everything that I know about, whether it be a vacation, whether it be going to the gym, whether it be going for a run, whatever it is on my calendar. I'm putting it on my calendar right now. And I just sat down and I scheduled the entire year. Even though I only have 6 months schedules on paper, I scheduled out the podcast slots for the entire year. So I should be good to go. So I'll tell you what, if you've listened to the podcast, you're obviously listening now. And if you stuck with me this long, because I'll be honest, it's at its highs and its lows, and we're currently probably in a low. I do appreciate it. Share it with your family, share it with your friends, let everyone know. Let's see if we can get this thing. The podcast numbers aren't necessarily where they used to be as far as the downloads, the listens, all that stuff. And that's fine. And that's probably my fault. I got caught up running an actual business, and family and all that stuff. So we're going to try and reevaluate. We're going to try and refocus. That is the goal this year. And I would like to actually release a lot more videos, a lot more video type content. And as I go ahead and I start doing videos for the podcast, some of these other things, I want to try and grow the video portion of it. Again, I'm on my own. I don't have a cameraman, so that's can be a little challenging. And I don't always like the way I look on video. I just don't. That's just me being vain, I guess. But I'm going to try and move forward. I'm going to try to make this good. So I do appreciate all the support thus far, and I hope to continue to have your support and get more from other. The goal is to grow the podcast, right? Grow the podcast, grow the classes, grow the business, grow it all. It needs to work. The podcast needs to be able to work hand in hand with the business, and it would be nice if it generated some money itself. Because every time I sit around this year and I think about the next year, and I'm like, okay, how are you going to make this work, Todd, so you don't have to go and get a different job? That is always the goal right there. How do I make this work so I don't have to go and get a different job? And, and I've been doing pretty good. Every year is a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And, we're knocking on wood. Here's to hoping that this next year is going to be just even a little bit better. But I'm pretty excited about this podcast stuff. So I talked about it enough that I thought I'd throw it out there, see what everyone thinks. Well, I don't care what you think. This is what's going to happen. And you guys are probably like, ugh, yeah, right, Todd. We heard this before. Like, you're not going to do this. I swear to you, I'm going to stick by this. I'm going to try so hard. So we'll see what happens. But if I don't talk to you guys before then, I'll tell you what, you guys have a good and safe new year. And just know that the new podcast schedule starts on the 1st of the year. It starts on Wednesday, January 1st, which that is coming up in a few days. So there you go. We'll do the first episode there. And that would be the... that's not the training series, is it? No. I need to pull my phone up. Which one would that be? I don't have it right in front of me now. That's going to be the gun, the beginner with a gun. So you bought a gun series or whatever I called it. Like, it's still new enough. I don't even know. But there you go. Maybe I should work up some bumpers or something for that, for the podcast, but well, we'll see how talented I'm feeling. So anyhow, enough small talk. I'll get out of you guys' hair. Just thought I'd give you a heads up of what was happening. I will talk to you later. Bye.